Let's bring in NBA champ Richard Jefferson. And Richard, let's talk a little bit about the credentials here that Doc Rivers brings to this organization. He has won titles. He has dealt with big personalities, especially when you look at the big three in Boston, what he did with Pierce and Allen, of course, Kevin Garnett, and then most recently with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. The expectations were much higher with the Clippers. He failed to meet those. What do you look at this fit here with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons in Philly and now Doc Rivers, the head coach?
Well, let me first say that the expectations in Los Angeles weren't met after 1 year, but he was very instrumental in bringing Kawhi and bringing Paul George. And that's what's going to lead us to Philly. Ultimately, when you give him the Philadelphia 76ers, they're going to start building something that everyone believes has an opportunity to be special. But Doc Rivers, high level ability isn't just his ability to coach stars, but it's also his ability to recruit stars and bring people in and have the ability to buy in. I really believe that if he was given a little bit more time in Los Angeles, he would have delivered on that promise. But ultimately, he has a chance to do it with two very, very good superstars in Philadelphia.
RJ, you know about big personalities. You played with them throughout your career, most specifically winning a title in Cleveland with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving here. I'm not putting Embiid and Simmons on that level just yet. I'm just saying, how would you handle if you're Doc Rivers coming into this situation? They have yet to win together as a team.
Well, I think that everything takes time and takes years. One thing I will say is that this team this year for the 76ers was not even close. They didn't have the shooters. They didn't have Bellinelli. They didn't have Ilyasova. They didn't have JJ Redick. They didn't have Jimmy Butler. So to look at this Philadelphia 76er team and say that this was even remotely close to what they had in prior teams, I think they really need to start building out this roster around their two best players' strengths. And that means that they need shooting, and they need a lot of it.
Okay, it's hard to find shooters around the league. And one thing they do have is also, and it's not a big three, but they have Tobias Harris. They gave him the max deal. They brought him in, of course, from the Clippers in a trade. They also have Al Horford. With that, the four ingredients here, can you keep these four together with this team with Doc Rivers and produce a winner in the East?
Well, I think you want to give them time. Understand that a lot of Tobias Harris' max contract was based off of how well he played with the Clippers. A lot of people thought that he had a chance to be an all-star that year because he was leading that very, very young Clipper team. So hopefully Doc Rivers can get that portion out of Tobias Harris. There is no doubt about his talent. There's no doubt about his ability. But can he take that next step and be a game finisher like Jimmy Butler was and also be a guy that can shoot at a very, very high level? That's what they need from him. But they have plenty of talent. They have the pieces, but they're still going to need more pieces to turn this team into a championship level team.
And RJ, this is a fascinating story with the dominoes here because Ty Lue was one of the names considered for this job from the start when Brett Brown was fired. Now Ty Lue was the assistant under Doc Rivers, and now we have an opening in L.A. What does this now mean for the Clippers and a guy like Ty Lue or even Mike D'Antoni, who was one of those guys on this coaching search for the Sixers?
Well, when Mike D'Antoni's name was brought up in Philadelphia, I was very, very confused. Nothing about Mike D'Antoni's time in this league said that he would work well with Ben Simmons, who wasn't a shooter, or Joel Embiid, who is really a natural big. And so I was really confused about that. I think the Clippers could be, a good look for him. But ultimately, I think Ty Lue and the way he has the ability to also talk to stars and also recruit players to come play in L.A., I think that would be a very, very key pickup for the Los Angeles Clippers if they were to able to get a guy like Tyronn Lue.
Okay, big off day here in the NBA Finals. You're from the bubble in Orlando, RJ, with the very latest with his thoughts on the Sixers deciding to go with Doc Rivers.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.